Hi guys, this is Victor Matfield and this is the final whistle.
Welcome back to Rugby Connection presents The Final Whistle. Now, this week's guest, what a legend of the sport, deemed one of the best to ever wear the famous green and gold jersey, three-time Currie Cup winner, three-time Super Rugby champion, two-time Tri-Nations. He's won the Lions series in 2009, and just to top it off, he's also got a World Cup. It's Victor Matfield. Victor, thank you so much for coming on. How are you getting on?
I'm doing well, thanks, Murray. Still winter here. We can't wait for summer to start here in South Africa now.
I think it's always winter in Scotland, the way it goes.
Yeah, our winter is probably like your summer, so it's about 24 degrees today, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, I think it's about 10 degrees here today. So yeah, we would take that. First question, we ask all our guests this. What actually got you into rugby in the first place?
Oh, I grew up in a house that sport was everything. My dad was a schoolmaster. My mum was a school teacher as well. So I grew up, we stayed at the school as well. So I grew up on the sport fields. Loved playing rugby, cricket, tennis, did everything with a ball. So always tell the guys I never got birthday and Christmas presents. The only thing I always wanted was either a cricket bat or a rugby ball or a tennis racket or anything to do with sports. So never had toys. Yeah, grew up with sport and I just loved it.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. First time I've heard somebody say that they grew up like on the school grounds. That's quite new to me.
Yeah, my dad was schoolmaster, so our house was on the school terrain. Yeah, so I was there all the time. The rugby field was like 50 meters from my house. The cricket field 100 meters. The cricket nets were like 20 meters from my house. So yeah, that was my playing ground.
Oh, amazing. I'm guessing there wasn't many parties growing up then, just because of where it was.
No, yeah, I wasn't at school. We weren't big into parties. I've got kids now. My daughter is 16 and she wants to attend all these parties every weekend. And I'm like, really? I don't think I've joined like two parties my whole school career. You've got two a weekend. So yeah, I really spent my time doing sport. I loved it as a kid. My wife always said I did catch up when I went to varsity. Then I started enjoying the parties. So I think I'm all caught up.
I believe you're all caught up, definitely. We have got some fun questions. I'm just going to try and mix them all about and just try and go with the flow. We have got, what is your favourite Bucky story? Because obviously, you think of Victor Matfield, you think of Bucky's both us. So, yeah.
Yeah, my favorite Bucky story is probably playing against England, and this Matt Stevens was from Boys High in Pretoria, and he went to play for England. And Bucky and myself, back in the day, the cameras weren't there all the time like these days. So at scrum time, a hooker and a tight head prop was pretty vulnerable for a few seconds after the scrum. So we had this thing, if we didn't like a guy, we sought him out at scrum time. And I was always on the left. So the first scrum back down, got up. I gave Matt a nice shot. He just had a little cut, went off very quickly just to stop the blood. As he came back on, Bucky said to me, "Combo, ek soek ook 'n kans. I want a chance as well, please." I said, "Okay, go this way." And John Smith was hooker and captain. And I mean, he was in Boys High with Matt Stevens. And he was like, "What's happening here, guys? Bucky's, why are you this side?" And Bucky just said, "Cappy, pas op, just look out. So he must just pull his head away." And Bucky's gave him a good shot just before. And he had a big cut. Went off to get fixed up. And after halftime, same thing, back on the field. I couldn't believe it. And next time, Bucky's told me again, "Combo, give me one more." And as we swapped around, because at halftime, John said, "Okay, guys, that's enough now. Come on, let's just play the game." As we swapped, went down, John went down. He said, "No, boys, I've talked to you guys." And Bucky's looked up and said, "Just one more, Cappy, please." So he gave him another one. And I think that was the end of Matt for the game.
It's like, that is like the most Bucky story ever. Even if like you've seen it, you wouldn't believe it. That's amazing.
No,
That you wouldn't get away with that nowadays.
no.
Um, I did mention in the introduction that you have won Super Rugby titles with your beloved Bulls, and obviously now they're not in Super Rugby; they're in the URC. What's your whole thoughts on kind of North and South meeting more regularly?
Well, I really believe back in the day when it was only 12 or 14 teams in Super Rugby and each team played each other, Super Rugby was definitely the best competition in World Rugby. I think it was even tougher to win the Super Rugby than a World Cup, because in the World Cup, you probably need to play 4 good games, where in Super Rugby, you have to be at your game, every game. You have to get a home semi-final. So you have to beat some of the best teams in the world 8, 9 times in a year. And then you still have to win a semi-final and a final. So Super Rugby for me was the ultimate competition. But I think in the last few years, it just fell off the pace. The way they tried to manage it to get more teams involved did change the competition. For us as South Africa, I think we're much better off playing up north. It's so much easier for our fans to travel, to go follow it. New Zealand, travel is very hard. It's far. It's very difficult to fly all the way there to win a game as well. So I think when you fly up to north, it's so much easier. There's so many of our players also playing in the north at the moment. And I can't wait for our teams to join the Heineken Cup as well. I think it's an unbelievable competition. If we can play against the England and English and the French teams as well, it's going to be amazing. And I mean, there's so many South Africans living in the UK, in Scotland, in Ireland. So yeah, I think the support base is there. The people loved the URC this last year. It started off slowly, but as the South African teams got involved in the semi-finals and then, of course, the South African final, I think the people has bought into it, and I think we'll see this year the support will be massive.
Oh, 100%. I completely agree with you. I loved the Pro 12, and I wasn't a fan of the Pro 14 because the Pro 14 got stale and it got very boring. And then they were like, right, we're bringing in South African teams, and I was like, okay, we'll see how it works. And it definitely works, because instead of just traveling 1 week to South Africa and then back home, they go, right, well, if you're traveling to South Africa, you will play like all the South African teams. That's you there for like a month. And to me, that just makes perfect sense, because you're then acclimatized, you're not jet lagged. Yeah, the way they're running it, it's very nice to see.
Yeah, I also think for South Africa financially, it's going to be great. I mean, our teams are playing up north, so sponsors you can get sponsors from out of the UK, so you can be paid in euros. So if we can get some of our top players back in our URC teams as well, that's going to make a massive difference. I mean, that was the strong point of Super Rugby in the day. I mean, you had to play in South Africa, you had to play for New Zealand and Australia to be able to play for the national side. So you had all the best players in the world playing in that competition. Now, most of the top Southern Hemisphere players are playing up north or in Japan. So you don't see them in this competition. So I think once the sponsors and everything start coming in, the TV rights coming in, I think we'll be able to keep some of our top players, and that's going to be a massive. It will be nice to see a Eben Etzebeth, to see a Andre Pollard, to see a Damien De Allende in a South African jersey playing in the URC and in the Heineken Cup.
Yeah, no, spot on. And I love how passionate you are about all this. Makes me feel nice and warm inside, because I'm passionate about rugby as well. So nice to know that there is more than one person. You did mention a lot of great players there. You can't say Backies as your answer, because we all love Backies, but not allowed. Who is your dream second row partner? You get one from past and one from present. So you've got Victor Matfield, whoever.
Present, it's easy. Eben Etzebeth will fit straight in there. I played a few games with him at the end of my career as well. look, him and Bucky is a little bit different, but he must be the best lock in world rugby at the moment. Him and Lou de Jager as well must be the best combination. So Eben is just a fantastic player. In the day, look, my toughest opposition was probably Paul O'Connell, but he's pretty much the same player as myself. So I don't think we would have been a great combination. So as a youngster, Martin Johnson was there. So I think as a youngster, I would have loved to play next to Martin Johnson. It would almost be the same as playing with Bucky's. He would always be there protecting me, and I can just do my line out and run in the back line, and he will do all the hard work. So I think Martin Johnson, my early playing days, and now Eben Exhibit.
Perfect, yeah, and I like the nice point. And then you could even have them two, so you can always rotate as well. And yeah, solid. You did actually kind of lead into that there. We did get Dan McFarlane asked who was the strongest player to play with, against, and your favourite player outside of the Springboks.
Yeah, best player I played with must be Fourie Priya. He was just an unbelievable player. He made everyone look better around him. You normally get fly off leading the team from 10. He did it from 9. It was just an unbelievable player. And then, best lock I played against, Paul O'Connell. At line-out time, I had to be at my best when I played against him. I had to do a lot of line-out work. And then Gert Small, who worked with me for years, joined him as well. And then it was very tough going up against him because Gert knew me exactly how I thought about the line-out. But I think other players that stands out must be, Richie McCaw was just unbelievable. I played so many games against him in the green and gold against the All Blacks, and then with the Bulls against the Crusaders. I think in all 3 Super Rugby's we won, we beat them in the semi-finals. So, yeah, I had a lot of battles against him, and he was one of those guys. Look, everyone targeted him. He just focused on what he had to do on the field, and he just went on with it, and he did. Most of the time, he got the job done as well. So, yeah, Richie was also a fantastic player.
Yeah, no, that's fair. All amazing players that you mentioned there. And not many people actually plays for Dupree. I don't know why. Not many people talk about him.
About?
Yeah, nobody really mentions Dupree. I don't know why, but he's amazing. He is fantastic.
Yeah, that's one of those things. I think in South Africa, in the Southern Hemisphere, a lot of people talk about him. If you look at the 2007 World Cup, the game against England, where we beat them 36-0, that was probably the best performance by any player in any test match ever. Then if you go to 2015 against Wales, he's one of those players that were just unbelievable. He could run the ball and at the right time make the right decisions. He always had 3-4 options, always played the right one. He had a great kicking game. So, he was a fantastic player.
Talking of kicking games, you've had a pretty solid kicking game. I've seen the video when you did the nice chip and chase, caught it, and then just offloaded. So you're a jack of all trades as well. So
that just probably made me a Springbok. As a young player for the Bulls, I did the same. I didn't pick the ball up. I did a nice line from 9. I think it was from Fourie. No, it wasn't. He was too young. I think it was from US Universities, and cut through the Waratahs, chipped over Matt Burke, caught it and scored it myself. And then I became a Springbok. And then I think that game that you saw this week was my 101st game that I played for the Boks. And I had to do it again because everyone always said, no, I won't be able to do it again. So luckily it came off. And then there was one where I did a cross kick grubber for Brian Abana. We had to beat the Stormers by 33 points to go through to the semi-finals in Super Rugby. And we were exactly 7 points from that 33-point margin at Newlands. And somehow, with a minute to go, I went for the cross kick. Luckily, Brian's speed made it a good kick, and he got it just before the dead ball line, and we won by 33 points. So, I don't know, just came up.
Must be all that practice with other sports growing up, like you said. That's why you're so good at it.
Must be. At primary school, I kicked for poles. I did all the line kicks, everything. And like you said, I grew up on the rugby field, so I kicked the ball for hours and hours. Didn't kick it that much at the end because the coaches said our forwards not allowed to kick the ball before practices, and of course forwards love kicking the ball before practices. That's all they want to do. But the coaches were pretty hard on us.
No, but I mean, you've had an amazing career throughout. Is there any teams you would have loved to play for, but just never got the opportunity, or were you quite happy with your little mix?
Look, I was pretty happy. I had the opportunity to go over and play for Toulon, and I had the opportunity to play with fantastic players. I mean, George Cregan was there, Dano Manga was our coach, Anton Oliver was there, Dan Luger played for us. Yeah, just fantastic players. And then some brilliant Fijian players as well. And we took them up. But again, I had to come back to South Africa to play the British Ice Lions because we weren't allowed to play overseas and play for the Boks. But I think that team that Bucky's then ended up with in Toulon, with Johnny Wilkinson and all of them, that was a great team. It would have been great to stay there, maybe partner up with Bucky's at some stage and play for Toulon. But that was a great experience. And then I played for some brilliant Barbarian sides. In 2009, we were very fortunate to beat the All Blacks 3 times as Springboks, and then I captained the Barbarians to a victory over the All Blacks as well. That was one of my very special moments. I mean, playing with some fantastic players: Matt Gitau at 10, Fourie at 9, Jamie Roberts at 12, Jock Fourie at 13. Can just keep going. It's an unbelievable team. So yeah, it was great fun. That Barbarian team was also very special.
Every Barbarian team's special, and that's what I love about the Barbarians, because these not meet up like a week or two before the game and then just go for it. It's very
I mean, if you take the effort that we as the Springboks have to put in, the planning we have to do to go up against the All Blacks, and you don't beat them often, then you arrive there, you drink 3 nights of the week, have 1 training session, and then you beat the All Blacks. But I've played with the Barbarians. The most important thing with the Barbarian side is you must have a very good 9 and 10. I mean, to have Rita Priya, Matt Gitau, you don't get much better. So they just control everything, and the other guys can just do what they have to do.
Did you get another chip and chase there?
No, they gave me the opportunity to kick for goal, and I buggered it up. So that was a bit embarrassing. So yeah, but no chip and chase there.
Oh well. I mean, never say never. You could always do it in a charity match, or who knows. And we've got some more fan questions. Nicholas Nell has asked, did you teach Vian Horn rugby, and were you proud when he captained the Limpopo Blue Bull side?
No. So I played for the Limpopo Blue Bull side as at school level.
Yeah.
And I captained the cricket side. I never captained the rugby side. But no, I didn't play. I played Vodacom Cup for the Blue Bulls when I was under 21, but never for the Limpopo Blue Bull.
Fair enough. I thought that was a very specific question. I don't know if they knew you personally or not, but I thought I'd just chuck it in there. Mokawani Ledwaba asked, what happened to your cruciate ligament, and did it change your approach to games?
Yeah, luckily I didn't do my anterior crucial. I did my posterior crucial, and I did my medial ligaments about 5-6 times. 3 times the one leg, 3 times, or 2 times the other side. And I think it does change. I mean, as a youngster, I loved carrying the ball. I was a bit bigger as well. But it's just funny, after a big knee injury, you just a little bit, you just protect it a little bit. So you're probably not the same type of carrier than before. But again, I think I adapted my game, probably passed the ball a bit more, made my runs a bit wider rather than right next to the ruck. So you adjust a little bit. But I didn't have a big operation, so I just made everything strong around it, the muscles. So, yeah.
Worked out well, though, didn't it?
Yeah.
Got one more fun question, and then we're going to do something totally different. Brookie Bennett has asked, any advice for young people wanting a rugby career?
Yeah, the one thing I always say is hard work always beat talent unless talent works. So it's just if you work harder than anyone else, I really believe you will be successful. You see so many times talented guys not putting in the hard work and then they just disappear. I was very hard on myself, fitness wise, and then also, I mean, analyzing a position. I've sat for hours in front of the computer, working out what other teams going to do, how they, when they do what, and that's why you're so successful. Same thing with running. I never allowed any other lock to beat me when it came to fitness, because then I feel like he thinks he's got a chance. Even when I was 39, playing in a World Cup, when we did the repeated sprint fitness test, I did the furthest run of all the forwards. So yeah, if you work hard, then you will be successful.
Couldn't agree more, and well said. And just shows how much you were wanting to put in, like you said, putting in the number of sprints more than any other forward. So yeah, fair play to you for that as well. We're going to move on. So we're going to go to get to know Victor Matfield. So it's a bit more fun questions. It's getting to know you as more of a person than just a rugby player. So what's your favourite post-match drink?
Scarce a light just after the game, and then I'll go over to brandy and coke, South African drink.
Nice, I like that. Do you have any tattoos?
I have one.
What is it?
I've got a springbok.
Of course. I don't even know why I asked. Do you have any hobbies away from rugby?
Yeah, I love playing golf, and these days I'm a cyclist as well. So golf and cycling.
How far do you cycle? On a normal day, how far would you cycle?
On the week, we'll do a quick 50 or 60, and then weekends between 100 and 200 guys.
Just casually, yeah. No, jeez, man. Your favorite film?
My favorite film? Yo, I haven't watched one for years. As a youngster, Something About Mary. I love that movie.
That's a very niche film, and I absolutely love that as your answer. That's brilliant. What is your favorite song and music genre?
Well, I love South African music, so you guys probably won't know it. So I'm a big Springboks fan. Yeah, so I'll have to go with one of his songs. It's called Storm.
Okay, fair enough. I'll give it a listen just to try and widen my horizons a little bit.
Now you can Google Storm Springboks.
If I could spell it, I will.
Okay.
Favorite food cuisine?
Lamb chops.
Ooh, nice. Any certain rub to it, or?
I do like my red meat as well, but if I want to treat myself, it will either be braaiing at home, it will be lamb chops, or even a lamb rib. That's the two.
Sounds good. Definitely sounds good. Favorite dessert?
Dessert. Chocolate mousse or carrot cake?
We'll never put. I don't know why. I've never heard anyone say carrot cake, so fair enough.
Carrot cake is so. If I don't eat it a lot. So if I treat myself and I go somewhere, 80% of the time I'll have a carrot cake with a coffee. Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Nice, simple. Yeah, no complaints. Favorite pizza topping?
Pizza topping. Yeah. I normally like it chicken supreme. So it's chicken with a nice sauce and some feta.
That's fair. Yeah, that's sounds lovely. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Yes, pineapple on everything on my pizza.
Ah, Victor, that's a big strike against you.
I love sweet and sour and salt together. I like to. So it's always funny before a game. I'll always in the morning I'll have an egg and bacon on a toast, but I'll have honey. I'll first have honey and then bacon and then an egg. Everyone always has a look at me, so I like the sweet with it.
You like to balance the sweet with the savoury. That's fair, and you've explained why you like it. Just not pineapple on pizza. Your dream holiday destination?
I've been to a few nice places. The best I've been to was Vegas. Loved Vegas with my wife.
Nice.
Won't go there by myself. And then I like summer holidays as well. I really enjoyed the south of France as well. I mean, Nice, Antibes, Monaco. Very nice.
All sounds lovely. Would you prefer a city break or a weekend in the countryside?
Depends. If my wife's with me, countryside, is me and the boys, I'll go to the city.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What's the best destination? Pretoria, Northampton, or Toulon?
Pretoria.
I figured that was going to be the answer, but I like to try and catch. I guess.
Northampton is last then. Way last.
Why?
Toulon is very nice as well, but Northampton is way down.
Why is Northampton down?
Now the weather and it's an old town and everything. No, can't compare with Toulon and Pretoria.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Eben or Bucky's?
I'll have to go with Bucky's.
Fair enough. You've got to stick with your.
Yeah, but like I said, Eben is the best player in the world at the moment for me.
Yeah. One thing you have to do, but you hate doing it.
It's difficult.
I know. I like keeping this question. I've done it. I started doing it, and I guess everyone's thinking I love it.
You have to give that one some time. Something I hate doing, but let's keep doing it.
If it helps, I can tell you mine.
Probably swimming in cold water. I hate cold water. We went to Kamstaldraad. And even I love swimming in the sea, but after Kamstaldraad, I can't get into cold water. But I love swimming in the sea and I love swimming waves. So it's the worst thing the first 5 minutes just to get in, but afterwards I just love it. So let's do that.
Yeah, no, that's a good one actually. I like that.
Or getting into while I was playing, getting into an ice bath. I never wanted to get into, and they forced me.
Yeah, nobody likes ice.
I don't have to do it anymore.
Is that the perks of retirement? Is it? No more ice bath.
Yeah. No more ice bath.
Biggest inspiration and why?
It's probably a cliche, but I think if you're South African, Nelson Mandela must always be right up there. I mean, what he went through, and when he came out of jail, just his view on life, I think we can learn so much from him. I always try and teach that to my kids as well. Rather look inside, doesn't help you look to the past, and you've got grudges. You have to look to the future and think, what can you do to make it better? What can you do to make yourself better and improve every day?
Yeah, I love that. Very inspirational. And you are our first guest to say Nelson Mandela is your inspiration. You're actually our first Springbok as well. I've just realised that. So
okay, nice.
Yeah, we're making history here. You can only pick one of these achievements from your career. One never happened. The 2009 Lions series or the 2007 World Cup?
World Cup.
Why?
I don't know. It's just so special. I mean, the Lions especially only get the opportunity once in 12 years. But to win the World Cup stays the ultimate in rugby.
That's fair. That's fair enough.
Glad you didn't ask me about this. Glad you didn't ask me the Super Rugby win, because that's right up there as well.
I thought about it, but I thought I better not. I felt like the Lions and the World Cup are very similar, because Super Rugby's every year. I know you said it's tougher, but it's an every year competition, so you've technically got a higher chance of winning it. Whereas, like you said, for you, the Lions is 1 in 12 years. So
yeah, you only get one opportunity.
You definitely made it work.
Mornay State.
Yeah, unless you're Mornay State, who just rolls back the clock. I call him the Lion Slayer because he's done it twice, the exact same way.
No.
And he is one of my all-time favourites as well, as is yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Every time I get asked, "What's your dream World 15?" Victor Matfield straight in at second row.
Thank you very much.
I haven't clicked on who comes with you, but you're always guaranteed.
That's right. Thanks.
Final question. One thing you'd like to be remembered for?
I think there's actually two things. So I think first thing is consistency. To be able to play at a certain level for a very long time, and to be remembered as someone that was always there when the pressure is on. You can stand up and come through for the team. And then with that must come to be humble. I really enjoyed when I meet people and they say they can't believe that I'm just so down to earth. So that's something that's really important to me as well.
Yeah, I mean, I must say you are very genuine. You're very real. You're not like living like off a name value or anything. You are genuinely. I could talk to you for hours if I had the time.
Oh, thank you.
But I know, but hopefully one day, and I say this to all our guests, but I do genuinely mean it. Hopefully one day, if you're ever in Scotland, we can have a nice cold drink.
That will be very nice. We'll enjoy that.
Yes. So if you're ever in, just give me a shout, and
I will do. Got your Instagram account now, so it's fine.
Exactly, and we'll get you a pint and a brandy and coke just to keep you happy.
Okay. Perfect. That's good.
You've absolutely smashed it, Victor. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on. It's been an absolute blast. Just ticking all the boxes. Cannot thank you enough.
Thank you very much. Cheers,
No worries. This has been Victor Matfield.
Okay.
And we'll see you next time.